Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, for your partnership with my office in scheduling this hearing. In my 8-year tenure on the Boston City Council, I convened 7 hearings on trauma because it takes many iterations and manifestations, and because it is all interconnected. Violence begets violence, and trauma begets trauma, and so many families and communities like my own are passing along, unfortunately, the legacy of intergenerational trauma. I thank each of you for being here. In order for us to work on it, we have to first speak on it. But one of the things that I think stands in the way of our speaking on it is the stigma and the shame that survivors carry when it is not your shame to carry. As hard as it is for people to conceive of the fact that someone they love could be traumatized or violated in such an egregious way, it's harder for us to accept that there are people in our own family, in our community, and in society that we know that could perpetrate such vile acts. I was just wondering if you could speak to, and first of all, I also just want to say it's so important. I'm sorry you have to weaponize your pain in order for this survivor tribe to be seen and to be heard, but it's so critical that this work be survivor-led. But could you just speak to the stigma aspect and how that is a barrier to addressing what is a pervasive public health issue in our country? Ms. Rigg.
I really believe that the stigma around not talking about trauma within your families, and with my family, it was, you just kind of moved on. The women in my family, going back to my grandmother, they didn't work, they didn't support themselves, and so it was kind of just something that you dealt with, and that's kind of what carried through my family. And the importance of just being open with it and having open conversations. That's what I'm trying to do with my children, and to share my story with other survivors and with young parents, with what I'm doing with National Curtain and within the YPAC, is to help other parents understand that aside from being a young parent, if you have that trauma in your life, that's also something that you need to address in your life and share with your children so that they know and are aware if they do see it and recognize it. And I think the importance of making sure that we have those resources and that we can heal ourselves first so that we can help heal the next generation is extremely important. With National Curtain, that's the one thing that that I really pride myself that we're working in that group, is just making sure that we're there to support each other through that healing first so that we can help others and help our children heal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.